Hello, Jackie Broman here. I've been away for a couple of weeks, so back into the routine of Mondays doing our Instagram TV. Today I wanted to talk about making your first call to a law firm. So when you've decided, you have done some research on who you want to have an appointment with. There might be two or three. You're going to have an initial appointment with each of them, and then you're going to make your decision about who to go with. What does that first phone call like to the firm? So, to set your expectations, don't expect to get through to the lawyer, just like you would if you're calling a dentist or a GP or another sort of health professional or a psychologist or any sort of professionals like that. You don't speak to the person to make the appointment. So if you call the law firm, you're likely to get a receptionist. They might put you through to an intake officer or the personal assistant for the lawyer, or they might just be able to do the intake for you from reception. So you'll be making an appointment. Now, the person might have a few questions to ask you to make sure that they're making the appointment for the right person. The other thing is that if they're asking you questions, please don't. It's a bit of a balance between telling them too much, because if you try and tell them your story, you might be giving them information that's irrelevant, but there is certain information that they do need to know. So if they're asking you something specific, please don't question why they're asking it of you. They need to determine, like I said, firstly, that you're going to see the right person, that the person that you're proposing to see actually does the sort of work that you're hoping they do. Their availability is another thing. There might be someone who is equally as qualified or can at least get the file started earlier. But also they have to do a conflict search. And they also want to try and give you a little bit of information before your appointment as well. So I know it's scary sometimes to call a law firm, particularly for the first time, but allow the reception or intake person to walk you through that process. They will ask you at least for your phone number, and a little bit of information about you and who the other party might be, so they can do a conflict search. They will also more than likely want an email address from you so that they can send you some initial information. That also might include a scale of fees or some kind of quote at least for the initial appointment. Some firms do a initial interview for free, but a lot of firms do not. So understand that even the initial appointment might have some small cost involved in it. It might not be the same as the hourly cost, but their time is valuable, and you're wanting to come in to tell them information and start to find out about what processes and what options you have. So it is a valuable appointment. So that's really what to expect when you call a law firm for the first time. Understand that you will not be speaking to the lawyer that you think you want to see. Understand they will have an intake process and they will guide you through that. So be patient, answer the questions that they ask. Information should be provided to you either upfront or via email before that initial appointment. Some might have a different intake process where the receptionist makes the appointment and then someone else calls you before your appointment with a solicitor to get some intake information from you. So that might also be a little bit of a process. So provide the information that is needed. Go with the flow a little bit. Understand there might be a cost for that first appointment. So that's the main things when you make a first call through to a firm. You're not going to get advice on the phone just by calling. If you want a phone appointment to have advice, that's usually okay as well, but the appointment will need to be made. You're not just going to get advice generally if you ring. If you want quick advice via phone. You may be able to call, for example, some of the legal aid hotlines in your state. The Women's Legal Service in your state may also have a phone hotline that can give you some initial advice or guidance. But as I said, with a law firm, your first contact with a firm is usually to book an appointment. So hope that's helpful in just setting the expectations and what might happen, and take a little bit of that fear away for you. Otherwise, I'll see you again next Monday. If you have any questions, you can DM me, of course, or jump over onto Facebook into our legal support group for women. It's free there, so I'd like to see you there. See you next week.